to Red Chair Chats, and today I have the honor of interviewing my husband, Trey Watson. Hi, Trey.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Welcome. So, tell me a little bit about your background, who you are, why you got into real estate.
Okay, so I essentially went to college to play baseball. My junior year, they told me I had to pick a major, and I had no idea what I wanted to do. So I picked criminal justice because it sounded fun. And got done. I graduated, finished baseball, and decided ultimately that criminal justice was not the career path that I wanted to pursue. And so I came back to Springfield and just looked around at all of the different industries that are here, and ultimately pursued a career in real estate and got started at another brokerage. This is my 8th year in the world of real estate, my 6th at Keller Williams, and I'm loving it.
Okay, so what made you decide to make the transition over to Keller Williams?
Ultimately, the training and really the resources that Keller Williams had at the time, which has obviously grown by a lot in the past 6 years. However, what I wasn't getting at the other brokerage was the constant training opportunities and resources, and ultimately really being around really high-minded thinkers that would push me to be better and continue to grow really in every aspect in life, but obviously in my career of selling real estate and helping people buy and sell houses.
So being in the business 8 years, I'm sure you've seen a lot of different changes in the market. What has been your biggest aha from when you started in the real estate industry to now?
I would say that ultimately, this is going to sound cliche, but your success is dictated by the activities that you put in. With that being said, the market does play a factor. And I think that in sales, we're great about having an optimistic mindset and saying, hey, you know, the market can't bring me down, and we're in charge of our own success and all of that stuff. Realistically, the market does play an impact in what's going on in the world, right? However, we can go out and change, add to our activities, take away from our activities, whatever it is. And the feeling of I'm going to determine my own success is what appeals to a lot of us that get into this industry. So to sum that up, I would say my aha is the market does dictate what's going on. However, we ultimately are in charge of how we design our life and what we ultimately want to accomplish.
Yeah. When you said your activities, what do you mean? I'm guessing lead generation?
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's everything, right? Especially here at KW, that's what we talk about on a daily basis, which is really, it's cool because that's what everybody is focused on, because the vast majority of us are really excited to grow and to go do more and go provide for our families and our communities and those kinds of things. So the lead generation activities are ultimately what we're talking about, and that's what we talk about on a daily basis. So when we go out and we put more effort into those activities, we're going to be able to reap what we sow and be able to provide more for our lives and our families' lives.
What are your primary sources of lead generation?
I am basically all repeat and referral business. Okay. I'm very fortunate to have come into this with a lot of connections in this area through baseball, going to high school here, being involved in the community. So being able to utilize those connections, I'm very relationship based. As you know, everything that's important to me is based around relationships and having that connection with people. And so being able to participate in those activities that I also enjoy, that's where 95% of my business comes from, is just going out and being active in the community and creating those relationships with other people. So
how do you go out and create those? Are you involved in any sort of activities, clubs?
Yeah, and those have changed over the past 8 years on what I'm involved in and what I'm not involved in. And that's the cool thing about this is, in order to create these relationships, we just have to find what we like to do and then go insert ourselves into those communities. So for me, I'm big into the outdoors, whether that's hunting, fishing, floating, camping, those kinds of things. There's a lot of other people in the Ozarks that are into those kinds of things. So essentially what we did is we started this is very hyper specific, but we started a Ducks Unlimited chapter here in Springfield. And what we're able to do there is we go create a committee, and we're able to go help a foundation that we're excited about, because that's what the guys are excited to go help, right? We get to go create this community and have these events centered around this, but what we're doing at the same time is we're also creating and cultivating relationships with those people that are involved in it as well. So I get to go hang out with people that I have similar interests in, and do something that we're all passionate about. And as you know, we just started a foundation that benefits type 1 diabetes. And we're going to do the same thing there, and that's really cool because we're going to get to help a lot of people as well through that process. And we also create a community where we can go out and have these relationships, and those people that we connect with through that, they're going to be buying or selling a house at some point in their lives, right? So a byproduct of creating a foundation that we get to help people is that we are going to be able to help them with their real estate needs as well. So we're really just cultivating those personal relationships and caring for people in the process, I guess you would say.
Okay. So let's talk about your team structure. So you have a team now.
Yes.
Have you always had a team, and what was the
No.
journey in getting to that?
So the first 5 years I was a single agent, meaning I did my own transaction coordination. I had worked with buyers, I worked with sellers, I did the marketing, right, and did it all. From there, the past 3 years has been team oriented. Right now we have an admin position for marketing and operations that we just hired, and then we have 2 other agents, including myself. So we have 3 agents and an operations person that helps us on a daily basis with marketing, lead generation, organization, which, as you know, I need. And so that's the team dynamic that we have. You know, there are different models for how different teams can operate. They're based off of what you want, right? So we're taught a model through the MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, and it's a great model. It might not be for everybody. If you're wanting to grow the biggest sales team in the area, that's what you need to do, right? Just follow, which is great for uncreative people like myself. You just follow the model that's already given to us, which is super, super easy. Where if there, you know, there's going to be other agents that aren't going to be looking to be the biggest sales team, but they still want the team dynamic, and they want to be able to have that leverage as well. So it's a perfect mingle where we have kind of a smaller team, but our needs are met through having that. So that's what our team dynamic looks like right now. Where we go in the future, I don't know, because we change our minds on what we're doing every 3 business days, it seems like. Okay. So we'll see what the future holds, but that's where we're at right now.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned while building your team?
I would say for me personally, it would be to not, and this is going to sound a little bit impersonal, but don't cater to somebody else's needs before your own, because you're not going to be able, if you're the rainmaker or the team leader, you're not going to be able to provide them what they need if you're not getting what you need, and it's not the structure that you like. And what I mean when I say that is, if you have, let's say there's 2 different personalities, one's going to be a millionaire real estate agent, and we'll say 3 really. We're going to say there's a millionaire real estate agent team that wants to grow into a mega team, right? Okay. Then we have a solo agent that is cool with doing 35 deals a year, which is a lot for a solo agent to do, and then we have something kind of in the middle, right? You can't bring, if we're wanting to be right here in the middle for me personally, and we bring somebody in that just wants to be a solo agent, they don't want that accountability to the team, right? Or they don't need that, or they don't want the responsibilities that comes with being on a team and being accountable to somebody else, because they have their own family, they have their own stuff that's going on, they have everything outside of that. Okay. Vice versa, if there's somebody that wants to be the mega agent, right? They're not going to mesh well on a team that wants to be that small team, because they're going to say, we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this, right? Figure out what you want. For me, this is what I'm looking at, is I need to figure out what I want so that I can serve my team the best, to the best of what they need, okay. Right? So when we're building a team, and it's easy to get caught up in, but figure out what you want, whether it's more of the solo agent thing or the mega team, and there's not a right or wrong, but figure out what you want before you start providing things to other people.
So if we're looking at a sliding scale from individual agent to level 7 mega team,
Mm-hmm.
why did you want it just in the middle of it, like
Mm-hmm.
a level 3 or 4?
Yeah, and that's something that I still struggle with today, as you know as well. Ultimately, for me, you know, we have other things going on outside of the sales business, right? We have the Type 1 Diabetes Foundation, we have the investing side of things, and so if we have the mega team, that's a lot of accountability to 15, 20 other people, where when we have the Type 1 diabetes stuff going on, we have the investing stuff where I need to go out and check on a property that would get rented out or whatever it might be. I like the team dynamic. I like having that team around me, but I also want to be able to have the flexibility to go do these other things at the same time. And you know, the Type 1 diabetes stuff is not a money-making activity, right? A byproduct of it is we're going to create new connections that will buy or sell a property, so some could say it is, but that's not why we're doing it.
Yeah.
The investing stuff is a money-making activity. And so for us to be able to go out and do these things, I still want the flexibility to be able to go do that with still having the team atmosphere and being able to help others and help them grow as well.
Okay. What do you think your favorite aspect of being a real estate agent is?
I go back and forth on this one depending on the day.
Okay.
We all get into real estate for either no income cap, right? There's not a limit on what we can make, so we can go work as much as we want. On some days I lean there, on some days I lean towards the flexibility.
Okay.
And typically you can pick one of the two on why somebody gets into real estate. I think we probably bounce back and forth between those two things more than we like to admit. So I would say both the flexibility, I would say the flexibility to not have a limit on what I can go do. Meaning I ultimately know that what I produce, I have earned 100%. And don't get me wrong, we're going to have unlucky things that happen, but ultimately it's up to me, and I know that I did everything that I could do to earn what I have earned.
Got it. So if you're looking back and 5 years ago, Trey, how much has your life changed?
A lot.
Okay. How has Keller Williams helped expanded your thinking, your mindset?
Yeah, so what we talked about at the beginning was being the opportunity to be around higher-minded thinkers. The first and foremost person is you, as my wife. I mean, that's the coolest thing that's come from all of this. And then all the other people that we get to be around on a daily basis. So I would say my mindset on what my perception of myself is and what I can actually go accomplish, and being able to see the ways to go accomplish that. So just like in the MREA, there's two sides, right? The first 90 pages are about mindset. And that's ultimately, I think, that what most people see when they come in here is there's a difference in mindset in the people that are in this building, and especially the people that are in this building on a daily basis. And so what we're able to do is we go in and we expand our minds on what do we know is real and what can be done. So for me, I was able to see, okay, here's the path of how we get here, right? And this is going into the second part. It can be done. This is how it's done. So we've got to change our mindset into, hey, this is actually possible to go do these things, and we have the models to show you how to do them. So for us, investing has been a huge part of our lives and our relationship, right? And that wouldn't have been a concept in my mind without being here and being able to see how to go do it. So being in this building and being at Keller Williams, it's exposed me to the people that have the drive to go out and achieve these things, and they've also done it. So we see that it is possible for ourselves to accomplish or achieve, and then we also can go pick their brains, go knock on their door and say, hey, how'd you do this? And they're going to give us their exact playbook so that we can go do it for ourselves.
What do you think is in store for you and the team in the next 5 years, forward thinking?
Again, that changes on pretty much a daily basis.
Okay.
on what we're wanting. My idea of it right now is to be really focused on the operations side. Like we said earlier, my brain is not an operations brain. I need help with that. I've come to terms with that. It took me 6 years, 7 years to come to terms with. I'm not an operations person. I can go out and run and gun, and I can go collect all of the nuggets that we can collect, but ultimately, once I have them, I don't know what to do with them, and I only have so much pocket space, and I can only hold so many in my hands, right? So I need help with collecting those nuggets and organizing them so that once they turn into gold, we're there to catch them and have them, right? So my mindset is really, really focused right now on building the operations side, which is through people. So once we build that operations side, it's going to allow us to go do more and capture more of those nuggets and put them in our basket, so that once those nuggets turn to gold, they're in our basket, right? And we're a byproduct of that, which I'm really excited about because I like the team aspect of things, is we're able to bring people in that then expose them to this building and the ideas in this building that are going to build their lives and expand their mindsets and thought processes as well. So I don't know that I could put a number on the next 5 years. I think through our conversations, we did just a little bit over 8 million in production last year. I would love in the next 5 years to be upwards towards 20 million. And what we're going to need to be there ultimately is, we just hired Peyton to run the operations side for us. That's going to be awesome. Once we get there, it's probably going to be 1 or 2 more operations people. I think we're set on the agent side. We can probably handle the 20 million with the agents that we have now, but it's really going to be building the operations side so that we can go out and produce and collect what we need to collect and help the people that we can help.
Yeah. With the market changing, from people you may hear the sky is falling, other people say it's great. What is your outlook on what the market's going to do in the next year? This
is what's preached in this building, and I think this is what's different, is in the greater Springfield area, if we lose 20% of transactions. So, if we did 16,000 transactions last year, and we lose 20% of that, so now we're talking 12 or 13,000 transactions that happen. That's worst case scenario. That's 2008 numbers. We get into that 14,000 transactions, it looks like a huge drop on paper. If we're after 20 million, we'll say, right, that's going to be around 200 transactions probably. We have to go get 200 out of 14,000. That's percentage-wise that makes it a much easier pill to swallow. Yeah. And it makes it much easier to actually go out there and do if we're focused on just what we have to do and not what the whole market has to do. So if we drop by 50%, there's still going to be 8,000 transactions going on, and we just need 200 of them. So that's kind of our mindset, is let's put our heads down, let's focus on the people that we can help right now and help our immediate family and our immediate community of the people that we want to go out there and be around.
Love that mindset. It's just how you want to look at things and what's available to you. So if there was an agent that had either been in the business for a while or maybe is brand new and they are kind of wondering if this industry is for them, what would your advice be to them?
They're going to, and I hate to even throw out the fail word here, but they're going to succeed or fail no matter what the market's doing. The vast majority of people, and you see this on a daily basis, how much money do you want to make as a new agent? What's the number that everybody throws out? It's 100,000 every single time. I said it. All of our other agents have said it. Everybody who gets in the business, we want to go out and make $100,000, right? How many transactions is that? On average?
20.
20, maybe?
Yeah.
Depending on your price point. If you're a new agent, go out and get 20 transactions. How many did Paulina do in her first year?
80.
80? Yeah. If you're either going to succeed or fail, and it should not be dictated by the market. It's all up to you and how you want to go about approaching this. Now, is it realistic in a market that is not as good as the past 2 years have been to wake up every day, maybe kind of focus on your activities and go make $100,000? It's probably not going to happen, right?
Interest rates are up, inventory's down.
It's just one of those times that things are a little bit funky, so you're not just going to wake up and make $100,000. You're going to have to go work for it. you're either going to succeed or fail. It does not really, that's not going to be determined by where we're at in the market today.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's all about perspective, and kind of like you said, the first 90 pages are mindset.
Yep.
And it's what you're in it to achieve, what are your goals, how do you tie, you said 20 million.
Mm-hmm.
What does that number do for you?
Ultimately, it gives us what we need as a family, and it allows us to have the experiences that we want to have at this point in time. And on the flip side, our why is we get up and we go to work in the morning so that we don't have to say no to any experiences that we want to have, right? For the experiences that we've talked about having, that number would allow us to not say no to the experience that we want to have. Now, are we going to go?
You do have expensive taste.
I do. I'd say depending on what we're getting into, probably. I would say we both do on some things, depending on what it is. I think that, you know, is that number going to allow us to go jump on a SpaceX plane and go to space whenever we want to? No. I don't want to do that. that doesn't sound fun to me. Yeah, no, I don't want to go do that. But does that allow us to go have the trips that we want to have and go have the experiences that we want to have together? Yes, it does. It also allows us to go put money back and invest, because that is something that we're very passionate about, to build for our future and our future generations. And then on top of that, it allows us to go give to the organizations that we want to give to, or go start the foundations that we want to start. So it does three things for us. It allows us to have the life that we want to have. It allows us to set up our kids and grandkids' kids for the life that is going to, you know, help them down the road. And then it also allows us to help people outside of our family as well, and help our community and others that can benefit from whatever it is that we can give to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. I always say I have the coolest job in the world. One, because I get to talk to people like you and meet you. So thanks for spending time with me.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Stay tuned for next week's Red Chair Chat. Thanks for joining us today.